Growing a business shouldn't mean juggling multiple systems and spreadsheets. In this episode, Annexa and Oracle NetSuite share how connected tech can bring your finance, inventory, and operations into one place, giving you clearer insights, saving time, and helping you scale with confidence. Kia ora, I'm Carolyn Young, Chief Executive of Retail NZ. Today, I'm joined by Matthew Owens, who's the Director of Annexa, and Tanya Large, who's the Head of Industry Associations with Oracle NetSuite. Welcome, you both.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Look, we've got tons of things to cover, so let's get started. Can you just give our members a simple overview of who Annexa is and what Oracle NetSuite is? And how can you help retailers bring everything from finance to inventory to sales into one connected system?
So Annexa is a NetSuite implementation and AI system integrator partner based across Australia and New Zealand. And we implement NetSuite ERP and have done so for 30 odd years. So for those who aren't familiar, NetSuite is a cloud-based ERP. It's effectively your system of record for finance, inventory, orders, operations, with everything running in one place rather than being spread across disconnected tools. And so I'd say that's kind of the way we describe it. And then our role here is to make sure we're able to get you up and running and give you the platform to help you grow your business or be more effective and help you achieve what your business drivers are.
Amazing. Anything to add, Tanya?
Yeah, I suppose with NetSuite being an ERP or a business management platform, there's a multitude of different ways that people would give reason to looking at NetSuite. A lot of people outgrow their systems, so they start small. They start with lots of different systems to run their business, including, a financial platform like Xero or MYB. But generally what happens as you grow and scale is you get complexity, and so that brings a lot of duplication, and you potentially then get a lot more administration coming into the business. So lots of businesses for a long time, the reason of moving to ERP was about consolidating all of that into one place. So you get a lot of automation and process flowing throughout the entire business, whether it's down in the shop floor in your e-commerce platform or in the back office in your warehousing. So that's a really typical reason. What we're seeing now more is with AI, obviously moving on to technology that's actually going to take you into the future. And that's certainly becoming a much more compelling reason to look at your technology.
Yeah, and look, I think, you've touched upon it, but if you think about a small retailer or any retailer that as they grow, they're probably adding on systems, and before you know it, it's really quite cumbersome. So if you're thinking about a retailer on the ground, what are some of those key challenges that you help solve? What does better visibility or automation actually look like for a retailer in practice?
I think for us, the one that we probably hear most consistently is that their data is scattered all over the place. You've got POS in one system and e-commerce in another and finance is somewhere else. And someone trying to hold it together is generally rattling around a whole bunch of spreadsheets to do that. So it's not just kind of the admin headache, it's kind of the downstream challenges that can make when you're unable to make decisions quickly, whether that's problems with your supply chain or customer experience or your cost margins because your decisions are a bit slow. So there are a bunch of business drivers across, having disconnected systems and data that leads to kind of slow decision making. So I'd say when your systems aren't connected together, particularly inventory being so important for retail businesses, the supply chain starts to leak. We see retailers carrying way too much stock or not enough of the right stock. Replenishment decisions are very slow and they don't really know what's actually moving quick enough. And then on the finance side, some basic stuff, landed costs, the right cost margins, what products are profitable, which ones aren't, where are we focusing our time and effort. And when there's a problem, a supply delay or a spike in demand or something, the signals are not seen. They're kind of too late. They're not acted on quick enough. So what we're really doing is bringing that together. We are, giving you a connected view across finance, inventory and operations. And then, with logistics and supply chain and customer service feeding back information quickly and in real time, a lot of those decisions can be made a lot faster and the team can sort of stop mucking around with the admin and really focus on customer service and making decisions to get stock in the right spot. So I think that, there are opportunities as much as challenges, and probably those drivers are equal parts making a business run more effectively and more profitably, but also just simplifying and standardizing and creating a platform to do more and scale. So we're seeing drivers on both fronts.
And I think if you think about retail right now, we know margins are getting squeezed, right? We know that we've got increases in lease costs, you've got rates increases, you've got insurance increases, your fuel and all your delivery costs have gone up, you've got wages increasing, KiwiSaver, all of these things mounting up. So understanding margin is critical to know, are you still selling your products at the right price, and are you able to stay afloat? Because otherwise sometimes those issues creep up on businesses. So I guess this gives people the ability to really understand, where their margins are at and how they can survive at their current price points.
Yeah. And we see that so often. It's such a foundational element to running your business, to making sure your P&L is accurate and you genuinely know that your cost of goods is real. And we see disconnected finance systems to inventory systems. They're not perpetual for the accountants. And by the time they're actually catching up and understanding the true costs of their products, they don't know that the stock's already moved and new stocks come in and they've already lost the signal. So it's such a basic concept of having a real-time COGS. And I see so many businesses with fantastic websites, amazing products, amazing markets, amazing customer service, and they're wondering why the P&L doesn't look good, we're not making money, and we're not profitable, because they're actually tracking the wrong costs, and they're not even considering the timing component of trying to make some of these decisions. So very foundational, but very easily solved with the right technology.
So if you've got a merchandiser that's looking at ordering stock for next year, and you're always ordering 6 to 9 months in advance, would they be able to tell the margins at which they sold stock at the previous season? So if you're thinking an apparel retailer and they're buying for winter, would they be able to see the margins? Because there's one thing moving stock, but you can usually move stock, but it depends on the price. And then when the price comes into account, margin comes into account. So whilst you might look like you've sold all of your stock, you might not have sold it at full recommended retail price.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the operations is one part, tracking the actuals of what happened as at now, but the shift to making sure that the future planning is as tight as it can be, and considering all the variables and assumptions with the technology we have nowadays is really a non-negotiable for a high-performing retailer. So an integrated plan looking forward that considers the true landed costs of our products, not getting from port A to port B, but actually getting from all the ports to your supply chain centers or direct to your consumers, or however your retail model is structured, and then having the integrated plan giving you the P&L projection. And if you don't have that in any real sophistication, it makes it pretty difficult to plan forward and put your finger in the air and figure out what you think your product should be priced at. So yes, integrated planning is absolutely key in what we are doing with Annexa and NetSuite.
Yeah, and I'd probably just add, with having all of that kind of foundational stuff, if, as you mentioned, Matt, you then layer in, uncertainty, changes that have happened this morning that you've got to respond to. If you don't already have that baseline or that foundation set up to support your business, there's no way you're going to be able to respond dynamically to those other things. So it's kind of becoming that's table stakes now, is really you've got to have that foundation layer set up to support your business to be able to respond to these different changes, let alone, managing the day-to-day business as usual stuff.
And so when we think about, the work that you do and thinking about the retailers that would get most value from working with Annexa and Oracle NetSuite, are we talking about multi-store businesses, e-commerce brands? Are we scaling quickly? Is it larger retailers looking for streamlining operations? Where would you sit comfortably?
For us, being the people that partner with Kiwi businesses to hold hands and make this stuff happen, it's the consulting, it's the development, it's understanding what makes a business unique, and then being able to help a business apply that technology. So that's kind of where we're sitting. And then I suppose in terms of the most value, it's both of those things. We see businesses coming to us that are, doing really well and dominant in a market, and particularly in New Zealand, where it's a smaller market and a business can do really well in New Zealand and have really good market share, but be really struggling competitively because their margins aren't there and they need to tighten things up and understand their costs. So we're absolutely playing in that space. And then it's the other side of it where we're looking to grow and we're diversifying new products and services on new regions. And we need a platform that's going to enable us to do that. Maybe it's into Australia and into global markets where we need some consistency in the way we work and we need the technology to be able to run different jurisdictions. So we do all of the above, some great local stories. We just work with Pet Direct and continue to do so to get those guys going. Good example of a pure play online business, direct to consumer, transitioning to also do in-store. So bringing those two together is good. And then another is Partridge Jewelers. So a very long-standing family business, many stores, and a lot of legacy in terms of how they've run their business and how they've organically grown, and just digitalizing their footprint and consolidating their businesses into some consistent processes has been really a game changer for the team at Partridge to be able to understand their business quicker in terms of what's happening and just provide a better level of customer service by having information readily available.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Matt and Tanya. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you both and hear more about Annexa and Oracle NetSuite.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carol.
If you want to get in touch with Matt or Tanya directly, please see their details on the screen right now. Or if you want to find more about the partner offer that we've got with Retail NZ for Retail NZ members, click on the bottom below to go directly to our partner page. This was part of our Empowering Retail series, your go-to resource for short, actionable insights designed to take your retail business to the next level. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, ka kite anō. Bye for now.